Hey, welcome back. We're on chapter 6 of On the Heavenly Spheres by Helena Abelard and Luis Ribeiro. And chapter 6 is called The Essential Dignities, the system of essential dignities and abilities. We've now seen how the planets express their natures and how that expression is colored by the characteristics of the signs in which they find themselves. We will now further develop that concept. When placed in the same sign, planets exhibit common qualities given to them by that sign. Nevertheless, some planets have a greater ease of expression in particular signs than they do in others. It all depends upon the comfort level of the planet in that zodiacal position. Thus, there are areas in the zodiac where the expression of the planet is naturally strong and stable, while in others, the same planet experiences difficulties. These areas are defined by the natural order of the zodiac and celestial spheres. When a planet finds itself in a segment of the zodiac in which its nature is reinforced, it is said to be dignified. And when it finds itself in an area where expression is challenged, it is said to be debilitated. These states of dignity and debility are known as essential because they reinforce and challenge the manifestation of the planet's essence. When dignified, the planet acquires greater status in the horoscope and becomes, to a greater or lesser degree, lord of its own actions. When debilitated, the planet loses power and becomes conditioned by the remaining planets. In the system of essential dignities, there are 5 dignified states and 2 debilitated states. The major dignities. The major dignities are domicile or rulership and exaltation. When a planet has dignity, it acquires power in its expression and is more marked. It acquires power and its expression is more marked. Opposing these dignities are the debilities of detriment and fall. If a planet has debility, its expression is weak or irregular. Because of their importance and the power they bestow on planets, dignities and the corresponding debilities are designated major, fundamental, and complete. So now we're going to go into domicile or rulership. The most important dignity of that domicile or rulership, the most important dignity is that of domicile or rulership. Each sign has a ruling planet that acts as king or lord of that territory. The ruler is the key through which the characteristics of the sign are expressed. The ruler is the key. Thus, in addition to the primary qualities, elements, modes, and gender, these signs are characterized by a ruling planet. As we've seen, the signs ruled by Saturn, Capricorn and Aquarius, have a structured and austere expression due to the nature of its ruler. The signs ruled by Jupiter, Sag and Pisces, share a posture that is enthusiastic and adaptable. Those of Mars, which is Scorpio and Aries, have a bellicose and assertive manner. The signs ruled by the Sun, by that of the Sun, Leo, is radiant. Those of Venus, Libra, and Taurus express themselves in a gentle and harmonious manner. Those of Mercury, Virgo, and Gemini are multifaceted, and the sign of the Moon, Cancer, has a changeable and flowing expression. When the ruling planet is in the sign that it rules, it is said to be dignified. As with the king who is ruling his land, the planet expresses its best nature in the most stable and productive manner. For example, if Venus is posited in one of its ruling signs, Taurus or Libra, its expression will be gentle and pleasant. Whether in terms of the sensual or practical aspects of Earth, Taurus, or in the social and communicative aspects of air, Libra. How rulership is assigned. But really quick, box. We're going to read a little box this time. Important. The ancient sources, the sign that a planet rules is also called the house of the planet. Often the term domicile and house are used interchangeably. In classical works, they are frequently referenced to the sign of Cancer as the house of the moon, or to Capricorn and Aquarius as the house of Saturn. To avoid confusion between the astrological houses and the signs in the domicile sense, we will not use house to refer to signs in this book. The readers should nonetheless be aware of this terminology when consulting the traditional authors. Box complete. How rulership is assigned. The assignment of rulership is based upon the combination of two distinct factors: the seasonal characteristics of the sign and its order in the celestial spheres, the Chaldean order. Let's see how these two factors interact. As was stated, the zodiac is based upon four seasons of the year. The signs Cancer and Leo mark the height of summer, and since they correspond to the times of greatest daylight, they have the two lights as rulers, the sun and the moon. The sun, the masculine light lord of the day, rules Leo, and the masculine diurnal sign, the moon. Wait, not sorry, I ran that on. The sun is the masculine light and lord of the day. The moon, the feminine light and lady of the night, rules Cancer, a feminine and nocturnal sign. Saturn, the most distant and darkest planet, rules the two winter signs, Capricorn and Aquarius. Because it is a symbol of scarcity, Saturn belongs to the rulership scheme opposite the two lights, symbols of abundance, which are the symbols of abundance and life. The remaining planets are distributed throughout the signs according to their positions in the celestial spheres, the Chaldean order. Jupiter, the planet that succeeds Saturn in order of the spheres, rules two adjacent signs, Sagittarius and Pisces. Mars rules the next two signs, Aries and Scorpio, and Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Contrary to what is often stated, the rulerships are not assigned on the basis of affinities between signs and planets. You'll note that in this scheme, Venus and Mercury retain, in relation to the lights, the same maximum distance that they attain relative to the sun. Since Mercury is never more than one sign from the sun, it is given rulership over the signs next to the two lights, sun and moon. Venus rules the next two signs since its maximum distance from the sun never exceeds two signs. We can see that the rulership scheme projects onto the zodiac the perfection of the celestial spheres. The perfect distribution of the planetary rulers generates several symmetrical relationship arrangements among the planets that are crucial for an understanding of astrological foundations. This distribution divides the zodiac into lunar signs from Aquarius to Cancer and into solar signs from Leo to Capricorn. Each planet is also assigned a diurnal relationship for a masculine sign and a nocturnal relationship for a feminine sign. Thus, each planet has an extroverted expression, diurnal, masculine, and an introverted expression, nocturnal, feminine, receiving. For example, Venus has a nocturnal rulership of Taurus, a feminine and nocturnal sign, and a diurnal rulership in Libra, which is a masculine and diurnal sign. The lights do not possess this duplicity because they define the concept of day and night. So now we're just gonna skip right to the joys. It's fascinating. Joy by sign. In some rulerships, the nature of the planet is not joy of the houses, joy of the signs. Okay. The nature of the planet is tempered by the nature of the actual sign. When this happens, we say that a planet is in its joy. Jupiter, a masculine diurnal planet, has its joy in Sagittarius, a sign equally masculine and diurnal. Venus, a feminine nocturnal planet, has its joy in Taurus, which shares the same nature. Mercury, which is essentially dry, has its joy in the cold and dry sign of Virgo. It has its joy in Virgo, not Gemini. Okay. This moderating action manifests both in reinforcement, the cases above, as well as by contraposition, the case of malefic planets. Mars, which is nocturnal, is more constructive in Scorpio, also a nocturnal sign, but whose cold and moist qualities temper the excessive hot and dry qualities of the planet. Saturn, diurnal, is a more balanced in the sign of Aquarius, where its excessively dry and cold nature is tempered by the hot and moist qualities of that sign. So now we're going to look at exile or detriment, which is the opposite. No, we'll just read. When a planet is in the sign opposite its rulership, it is said to be in exile or detriment. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. This is the state opposite to that of domicile. In this situation, the expression of the planet is debilitated. Its performance becomes insecure and indirect. Because it has difficulty expressing itself, its nature is weakened and distorted. When in detriment, the natural qualities of the planet transform themselves into their corresponding defects, the distortion of these qualities. Thus, the sobriety and caution of Saturn become melancholy and meanness. The generosity and optimism of Jupiter become squandering and disregard. The courage and assertiveness of Mars manifests as cowardice and aggression. The natural authority of the Sun becomes arrogance. The sensuality and sociability of Venus inclines towards luxury and frivolity. The curiosity and ingenuity of Mercury expresses itself as intrigue and fraud. The thieves and the liars. And the adaptability of the moon slips into inertia and laziness. If a planet is in detriment, If the planet in detriment represents an object, it suggests something in bad condition, not valuable, or possibly broken. Some authors use this term exile or envy to designate this debility. For exaltation, in some cases, the ruler of the sign may have a planet that is second in command, that shares with its governing functions of the realm. The name exaltation is given to this second state of dignity. The term exaltation comes from the Latin exalto and means to raise up, elevate, and honor. We may compare exaltation to the role of prime minister, a dignitary with many honors and power, but whose action continues to be dependent upon the approval of the king. An exalted planet finds itself in a state of great power. We may even say it expresses its nature with a greater intensity than in its rulership state. However, the expression of the exalted planet is more inconstant, going through highs and lows. Each planet is exalted in only one sign. It says inconstant, but I'm wondering if they mean inconsistent. In an astrological interpretation, we might consider that an exalted planet simultaneously indicates value and exuberance. If the planet represents an individual, it suggests someone respected and well-intentioned, but with a good tendency towards exaggeration and even arrogance. An object represented by an exalted planet will be in good condition, but it may seem more valuable than it actually is. Some authors also use the term honor to refer to this dignity. Fall. Corresponding to the exaltation is the debility known as fall, which occurs in the opposite sign. So opposite the exaltation. Just as in the case of detriment, a planet in fall has difficulties expressing its nature. In fall, that difficulty is characterized by instability in its expression. The planet becomes clumsy, its action inadequate, inappropriate. Some authors refer to this debility as depression or shame. We're going to pause here on, I just finished up page 70, and we'll start the next one with page 71, how exaltation and fall are assigned. Okay, we're on page 71. Oh my gosh. Thanks.